Onegashimasu. Today we're going to talk about the 5 bad habits of Uke. Ukemi is always a controversial topic. The way I approach it is always been, it depends on what you're trying to get out of the training. Every dojo is different, every organization is different, every person is different. So for me, I take Ukemi, or I approach it in a way that's going to get me to an end goal. Okay, it's not an abstract thing. So these are 5 bad habits that I never want to see in my dojo. They just piss me off. So number 1 is going to be pinning your own hand. I'll show you what that means. Number 2 is tentative attacks, right? No good intent. Number 3, blocking with your face. That's never a good idea. Number 4, throwing yourself. Don't get in the habit of throwing yourself. And number 5, separation. What do I mean by that? Separation between yourself and your partner. Never a good idea. So I'm going to try to demonstrate what those things are. I'm going to talk a little bit about why it's not a good idea to do those things, in my opinion, and how we can correct them. Thank you. Okay, so first we're going to talk about pinning your own hand. What do I mean by pinning your own hand? Pinning your own hand or having a dead hand, that's another way, bad idea. So what I mean by that is you go to strike and your hand is locked in here. So you're doing something like this, right? Or you're doing something like this, right? Or you're doing something like this, right? And this hand is just here. It's locked in here. Conversely, or something else that's also bad, having a dead hand. You just do this, or you do this, or you go to grab, and this hand is totally dead, it's not doing anything. All your focus is on just this lead hand or this attacking side. So, problem with that is we never want to ingrain bad habits. So if you start striking like this all the time, or punching like this all the time, doing stuff like that, and this hand stays here, guess what? That's what you're going to actually do. That's what you're going to actually do. So it's never a good idea to pin your hand or to have a dead hand when you're attacking or you're grabbing. What I usually do, I usually always protect my center line. What do I mean by that? When I'm going to grab someone, you'll probably notice my hand is not tense, but it's alive. So when I go to grab someone, this hand is a little bit alive. It's not dead, and it's not here. We'll talk about that here. We'll talk about that later. But when I do grab, this hand is alive so that I can respond or do certain things with it. So I'm just having a total awareness of your body, that when you strike, this hand is ready to protect. When you do Morototori, right, you're thinking about it. But a tendency when we doing a one-hand grab or a single-arm strike, this hand tends to be dead. Also, a lot of times people kick, right? And these hands are just down, right? Someone goes to kick, and these hands are down. No, when you kick, down. No, when you kick, down. No, when you kick, right? Your hand should be up and should be alive, right? A lot of people kick and got clocked. You don't let that be. Don't let that be. Don't let that be you. So when you attack, don't get in the habit of pinning your hand to your body, like so. Or when you ski, don't get in the habit of just keeping this hand here. I know some people think about chambering. That's a little different because now you're showing me that this hand is active. So that's a good thing. But if you're just doing a ski and this hand is just hanging out here, or you're pinning it to the side, that means you can't really, you're not using both sides of your body, you're not protecting yourself. Use all of your body to attack and to defend. So if you're doing something like this, be aware if this hand is dead. If you're grabbing for a katatori, is this arm dead? Be aware of it. If you're going to strike, is this arm dead? Be aware of it. Are you pinning this arm? Be aware of it. Not a good idea. Should be active. When you go to strike, this hand should be active so that you can respond in any appropriate manner. Okay, so that's my number 1 bad habit of Uke, pinning your hand or having a dead hand. So, number 2, tentative attack. You ever see people do something like this and they go to grab you, or like this and they go to grab you, or person is there and then they move all the way over, then they move all the way over, then they move all the way at you. There's no intent whatsoever. So they're being a little bit overprotective. One of the things that we want to work on in our Aikido is that when I attack or attack my partner, they have a response. And now I have to have a response to that response. So I have to approach each attack as if I don't know what's going to happen. A lot of times we say Somuchi Ikkyo, for example, and we start to do the shomen, and we already start to turn ourselves. So we go to attack, and then we already are taking ukemi before the person does anything, right? Or we barely attack. We're very tentative in this attack because we're afraid of what's going to happen. Okay, so part of your training is to learn how to have full intent and to respond to the response, right? Improve your ukemi. If you're not confident in taking ukemi or a certain type of ukemi, it's fine to tell your partner, hey, slow down, I'm learning, I'm new, I'm trying to adjust, I'm trying to work on some things. But it's never a good idea to kind of attack in retreat mode or to attack like this. That's not a good idea. You're not giving your partner anything to work with. You're overprotecting yourself, and you're actually pretty open, right? Yeah, your hand is up, but the whole rest of your body is vulnerable to attack. So not a good idea to do anything like that. Sometimes people grab and then they move all the way over here to the side for some strange reason. Don't do that. Your intent is to give yourself to your partner, and the contract that you have with your partners are not going to abuse your body. If your partner's going too hard, you're not comfortable, tell them to slow down, tell them to soften up, tell them to relax a bit. You have to approach your practice with full commitment. So you go to attack like you mean it, all right? Now you learn to take ukemi as a response to however they approach your attack. So this is just part of the training. It's okay to slow down, but you have to stay continuous. If it's a little too much for you or you're a little overwhelmed, attack slower. But it has to be continued. You can't, this is not an attack. Please don't do that. It's very terrible. Your posture's bad. You're not giving your partner anything to work with. Tentative attacks. All right. Okay. Number 3 is probably maybe one of the top rules in boxing. Never block with your face. Let's say, for instance, we're doing Katatatori Kokunage. I grab, my partner moves in, and this hand is dead, and they're doing something like this. Their elbow is across my face, and I just leave my face there. Ingraining bad habits. When I grab and Nage opens up, what I want to do is I'm going to turn my face. That's one option. You turn your face so their elbow is more to the side. You don't want their elbow in the middle of your face. What I myself normally do is I put this hand up. Again, my hand is always alive. So I put this hand up, and their arm or their elbow is making contact with my hand, and then as they open up, my body turns. But I'm giving them contact. I'm giving them something to work with, and at the same time protecting myself. If someone's responding to your attack with a strike, right, we do yokomen, right? We do yokomen, and then Nage does yokomen back, and you don't even make any moves to protect your face or your body, right? You just throw your yokomen and you just take the hit. Not a good idea. Okay, a lot of times you throw yokomen, they throw yokomen back. You have to learn to maneuver your body to slip the punch, slip the strike, or block the strike while you're fully committing, okay? But you never want to just take it in the face, okay? Or even to the body, to be totally honest. So when someone's kokinage is just a prime example of that. People do Katatatori kokinage or some form of kokinage or kokyuho, and then they're opening up, and I always see uke just kind of like boom, laying there or standing there taking it. Put your hand up, move your head, tuck your head inside their armpit or on the outside of their armpit, but don't just take full brunt force to your face. There's another technique where someone grabs, and it's an irimi type of kokunage, their hand and uke's face, right, to throw them, right? They got their hand and then the face, right? Don't do that. Don't just take the hand to the face. Put your hand up to protect your face. You can still take the ukemi, right? But don't get in the habit of not protecting yourself. That's very, very bad, okay? And it doesn't look cool. Number 4, throwing yourself. I've had several students come. Maybe they had some prior experience somewhere else. Their training methodology was a little bit different. We go to do a technique. I start my technique and they throw themselves before I even do anything. Very frustrating, okay? And then again, don't train yourself to make your instructor or your partner look good. You're cheating them of an opportunity to train. So a lot of times, people start throwing themselves before the technique is halfway there. Okay, the deal is not I do half the technique and then you do the other half. I want to complete my technique. So as a practitioner, if I'm stopping my technique somewhere midway, you should stop midway. Don't finish the technique for me. Don't finish the technique for your partner. Okay, it's their obligation to finish the technique. So if it's Shomanuchi, Aikido or something like that, I go to strike. Don't just turn your back and start taking the Kimi. Your partner, his or her training is to learn how to manipulate your body to move you into that position or to throw you. That's their responsibility. Don't just grab and then take a Kimi. Take off. Okay, so again, very, very bad habit. You're depriving your partner of an opportunity to train, and also you're losing a lot of information. I found that when working with Taguchi Sensei as a prime example, the longer I stay in there, the more information he's feeding to me, the more of the technique that I'm stealing. If I grab him, he does a technique, and then I just take off, I've lost so much information. So sometimes taking ukemi is challenging. It's supposed to be challenging, right? This is a martial art. It's not supposed to be easy, right? But I found the longer I can stay in there, right to the end of the technique, I'm still being fed information. So don't cheat yourself of a learning opportunity. Don't throw yourself. Learn to stay in there. Get all the information that the technique is trying to feed into you. Okay? Don't do that. Don't throw yourself. Okay, number 5 is separation. This is a kind of an interesting concept. As uke, you always want to stay as close to your partner as possible. It feels safe for us to create more space. I grab my partner, then I move away. I'm not really following their technique. Sometimes people will grab and they'll actually take over the lead where they think the technique is going to go. Sometimes people will lag behind, not move their feet, kind of just plant themselves. Again, that's ceasing your attack, right? No intent. Let's say Katatori Tenkan, I'm grabbing, my partner is leading. I'm trying to stay as close to them as possible. I'm not trying to become separate. So one of the keys for me when I do that is I always keep my elbow close to my body. I try not. Think about Kodagaishi, for example. Kodagaishi is really rough and tough. If you become separated, may have this, and then your body has to catch up. So I always do this, then I take that ukemi right over my arm, right? So I'm always trying to be as close to myself, as close to my partner as possible. So kind of the things that if you haven't really been practicing that way, as you go up in the ranks, as you have more years in Aikido, you kind of get used to the separation. But it's really not a good idea. You don't give yourself opportunities to counter if you're separated. You give yourself more counter opportunities the closer you are to your partner, right? Even when you get thrown, you take a Kimi, boom, you should land right on the floor. Don't fly halfway across the room, right? Land by the floor where you can still attack their legs, you can attack their body in some manner. Okay, so separation, try not to have too much of it, stay close to your partner. Thank you. So one thing that you can do when you come into the dojo, come early, stay later, work on your attacks. We always work on the ukemi, work on your strikes, work on kicks, work on punches. Notice where your hands are. If you're overprotecting yourself, if you're fully committing to your attack, and whether you're protective measures as well. So when you throw a punch, someone counters. I mean, it's shadow boxing, right? So if you throw a jab, you know, your head is always moving, right? Because you're slipping punches, right? When I throw this hook, this hand is right here so I can protect the other side, okay? But if you're punching and your hands are falling down, that's not good. Not good as a martial artist at all. So come in early, work on your attacks, and notice where are your opportunities to protect yourself at the same time without being overprotective. Kind of hard if you're not used to fighting arts. It's kind of hard, but that's one thing you have to learn to do. You have to, in boxing they say no risk, no reward, right? So yeah, even though I fully commit to this punch, I know that my partner can counter me, right? So even though I'm fully committed, I have to be aware where they can counter and protect myself at the same time. Okay, so Just comes with being a martial artist, right?